Gizmo, come over here. Come next to me. Sit right there. You far away. Y'all kind of cut off my whole head. I gotta get even. Okay, that's better, y'all. We are live. Let me get this out. Caesar Sales, thank you very much. Thank you. Every now and then, I have to remind you guys of how beautiful I really am. Did you know when you're at home, I think you sometimes don't really think it's necessary to, get all dolled up, but sometimes I got to remind y'all why I'm a child of Oshun, and all the other little bees be flying around me. I got to show you what I'm working with. Well, my husband be coming home at lunchtime to see me, cause this is what he gonna get. Here now and then, Plus, it don't make no sense for me to have all of these beautiful hair pieces and never wear them. Like I have hair all out in the garage. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wear this hair. Even if it's only for an hour. I'm gonna put this hair on and I'm gonna wear this hair. Okay. So that's what we doing. Let me see if I can push our back just a little. You gonna have to lay here, sir. Lay right here. Cause you can't lay in front of me because the or you can get in the bed. Either one. But stay over there. Don't come over here knocking stuff down. Hey, beautiful magic. So you know what? You know how I am. I'm for the people that come in late. I'm sorry, but y'all gonna have to go back and catch the replay. We gonna get started because I don't have no church announcements. I don't think I don't have no church announcements, so I don't really um have anything to. Okay, so I ended with Allegua, and I'm going to pick up there because I told you guys that I would read to you one of the pot keys, which is one of the stories or one of the legends for Elegua. So we're gonna do that, and then we're just gonna keep on going. Okay, this train gonna keep on rolling. So the legend of Elegua. So Elegua originates in the Yoruba city of Ketu. Not knowing if I'm pronouncing that right. My Yoruba is horrible. Okay. I didn't get a whole lot of uh training in the Yoruba language. So if I'm pronouncing it correctly, just remember that I am American and Yoruba is not my second language. I don't have a second language. So, Elegua originates in the Yoruba city of Ketu in Nigeria, where he is believed to have been king. That is why he is also known as Eshu Ala Ketu. The legend or Pataki of Santeria are an intrinsic part of the divination system that are at the core of the religion. As we have seen among the divination systems are the readings of the coconut rinds. We're going to get into that later. The reading of the coconut rinds and the reading of the cowrie shells. It's going to get into that later on in the book because those are both very important. Also known, well, the cowrie shells are also known as the D Lagoon or the Aquile, I think it's pronounced, or divining chain of the Babalao and the table of Ifa, which is the divining tray of the Babalao and the highest oracle in Santeria. So I told you guys that when you go for a real, this is how you know normally, but because you can buy anything now, you can buy all of these things can be purchased off of the internet. That's why it is best, if you're going to get a reading, to get a reading from someone that you know, someone that is reputable, whoever that was that just said hi, someone that is reputable, someone that comes referred to you by someone else, because I'm telling you now that almost everything that a priest or babalao uses can be purchased off of the internet. And people, a lot of people misrepresent themselves. A lot. So try to, if you're going to have a reading, to get referred to someone else. But this is one of the ways that you will know for sure that you're getting a reading from, after you get your referral, and it's somebody that you know, they will either read you with the shells or the cowrie shells or the coconut. Or if it's a babalao, they'll have this chain. It's like a chain with cowrie shells on it and a special tray that they're going to read you on. If you go to somebody and they don't have like any, they're not dressed appropriately, they're not in white, their head is not covered. The, 9 times out of 10, you're not with the right person. You're not. If you just go to somebody's house and, well, I would hope that you would not find some random person on the internet and go to their house to get a reading. I really hope that you wouldn't. And if you're going to get, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even say that it's okay to get your first reading like through like a Zoom call. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. And I wouldn't recommend that you do that. If you're not doing it in person so you can really see what the person is doing, who the person is who the person is, I wouldn't recommend you do that. But that is what they're going to use. They're going to use a um broken coconut. The coconut is broken into 4 pieces. They're going to use that, or they're going to use the cowrie shells, or they're going to use that chain with the cowrie shells on it, on that tray on the floor. Okay, if they are a babalao. So if the people don't have any of those things, like if you go in for a reading and the person pulls out some deck of tarot cards and they're going to tell you who your Orisha is from some tarot cards, you at the wrong place. Now, when I do my readings on here, there are tarot decks that have, that are dedicated to the Orisha. When I do readings with those tarot decks, I tell people that, maybe this is an Orisha that wants to help you right now, but this is not your head Orisha, because you can't get your head Orisha from a tarot deck. It just don't work like that. So if you walk in and someone is, wanting to, someone is trying to tell you that they can tell you who your Orisha is from a tarot deck or for some tea leaves or, something that has absolutely nothing to do with the Santeria or the Yoruba tradition, then you at the wrong place. And I'm just letting you know now. So that's why you shouldn't get it done, your first reading done like through a Zoom call or anything like that. Now, after you have established a relationship with your godmother or godfather or whatever, then it's fine to, do things like that over Zoom or, whatever, because sometimes your godparents may not even live in the same city with you. But if you've already met them, and they're in another city, then it's fine to, do things over Zoom. But you've never met them, you don't know what they doing, and you may be on a call and maybe it's just a phone call, and then you hear like tarot cards in the background, and you don't really know what they're doing, and then they tell you, oh, you're a child of Ogun, and child Ogun don't even know you, okay? Because what the person did was not what they were supposed to do. So be careful. So where am I? Okay. So each pattern of the D Lagoon or the Okule, I think it's called, in Ifa is known as a Odu. Each Odu is 256 of them, and each oracle is accompanied by several legends. So each time they throw that chain or they throw the cowrie shells and they come up a certain pattern, because when you throw the shells, they they either come up or face down. Like this cowrie shell here is face up. The back is face down. If you look at a cowrie shell, it's only open one way in the front. The back is closed usually. Or they will open these, the back won't be open. Some people open the back of them for jewelry purposes, but normally the back of a cowrie shell is sealed and the front has a split. That's how they're made naturally. So when you throw the shells, it's either gonna come up, you're gonna get a up, or you're gonna get a back. And one means yes, the other means no, I'm not going to tell you which one. And they throw four shells. So there is going to be a combination in there. Whatever the law is for, like if you throw four coins in the air, you're gonna get different, you're gonna get either the head or the tail. So if you throw four things, you're gonna get four different. Like you may get two up, two down, three up, three down, three one up. You understand what I'm saying? I hope so. So that's um that's what's going to happen. So these legends explain the origin of the Orisha, the creation of the world, and many of the mysteries of the religion. Each Odu is a mouthpiece for several of the Orishas, as it also is accompanied by a rather cryptic message, which the diviner uses to interpret the oracle. So when they throw these, and the chain is the same way. When they throw the chain, you're going to get some conch shells that come up and some that come down. And they have a very specific meaning. So the people that your babalawo or, well, your babalawo is going to throw the chain, but your godmother can throw obi, which is the coconuts, in the shells. So when they throw them, a specific message is going to be in there, like the interpretation of how many came up and how many came down is where the message lies. So they know what to tell you from what is thrown for you. That's where the message is. So it says the Odu has a vast quantity of Abos which offer magical solutions for the problems faced by the consultant. And usually when people come in to get a reading, they come in for a reason. You're trying to find out um, who your Orisha is. You're in trouble, you have a court case, you want to find out what you should do, for a court case. Maybe your boyfriend is wayward or girlfriend. I have to stop saying that it's always the guy that's wayward because there are wayward women also. Let's leave this. Let's leave them alone. There are wayward women also. So, the woman could be wayward, the man could have came in to um see what's going on with her. You never know. So depending on how things lay out, depends on that's how they help you um with your situation. So it says there are many polykkeys explaining the origin of Elegwa in his connection to God and with the other Orishas. The most popular uh, polyckey tells the story of Elegwa, son of Okubora. One day he saw a great light with three eyes outside the palace. He approached the strange object and saw that it was a dry coconut. He picked it up and brought it to the palace where he threw it behind a door where it continued to shine. 3 days later, the prince died. At first, the king and his people continued to revere the shining coconut, which is called Obi. But in time, they forgot about it. Shortly after this, the country suffered a reversal, and poverty and despair reigned everywhere. The king gathered the elders to find out what was ailing his kingdom, and after much deliberation, they determined that all their ills were caused by the abandonment of Obi. When we went to look at the coconut, they found that it had rotted and was covered with worms. In order to make amends, they threw away the obi and replaced it with a stone, which they put behind the door. This is the origin of a legwa and the reason why he is placed behind the doors. And the reason why they placed him, used the stone this time, was because they didn't want to go back and get another coconut. And the same thing happened. So you will see a legwa um, represented with a stone a lot. Some people will take their coconut and paint it and put a varnish or something on it so that it will never rot. I have one that I painted for at least 10 years or more, and I never had any problems with bugs or it never rotted. Of course, there was no the water had dried, but it never rotted or anything like that. But I treated it well. I treated it well. So I never had any problems. But depending on what comes up in your reading, depends on what potty or what story you will receive. So if you come in and they throw OB or whatever, and it comes up that you're a child of Alegua, then your godmother may tell you this story in more detail. So when I went in the first time to get my reading, of course, they told me that I was a child of Oshun, and she talked to me about Oshun, and um, at the time I was having like a lot of problems with my kids, and I don't really want to say that I was depressed, but I just wasn't really in the best of spirits, and so um the person who ended up being my godmother then, talked to me about Oshun and her children, and, Yemaya, and, gave me some stories about Oshun, because those were the things that I needed at the time. And normally, if you go in and you have your reading and they tell you which Orisha is yours, you normally have to do like certain things. So I had to have a cleansing. I remember having to wear all white, I think for like 14 days. I couldn't let anybody other than family in. When they say family, they mean like blood family. Those were the only people that were allowed to touch me after um my cleansing for 14 days. Like I couldn't touch anybody. Like even if I went in the grocery store, I was to make sure that no one touched me. I was to stand off, because no one could stand directly behind me. That came up in my Odu, to not let anyone stand directly behind me, and don't let nobody touch me. Like even when you know, you go to the grocery store, I had to ask the cashier to put my money on the table so I could pick it up, to make sure that her hands did not touch mine. It's different for them to touch an object that you touched, but not to touch you physically. This was my reading, not yours. So I had to do that for 14 days. And did I have a rogation? I think I had a rogation. Um, After that, and the rogation is where your head is cleaned with herbs. It's an interesting process. And then after you sleep on that overnight, you have to take that and discard of it, where your godparent tells you to do it. So there are, this is a very like symbolic um religion. You know, there are a lot of things that you have to do. And if you're not ready to, keep up with your orishas and take care of them and clean them and feed them, and love on them, because that's why this country got in trouble, because they just ignored Alegua and he just went off. So if you're not ready to take care of them and do all of these things that you have to do on certain days, with certain foods, with certain fruit, all of that kind of stuff. If you're not, ready to do that, then you shouldn't do it. And that was my problem. Like after I got in and saw what, my older god brothers and sisters who were crowned, what they were going through, I knew that I wasn't ready for that. How I'm gonna bring home like 8 Orisha and tend to them every day and then tend to my kids. Like I could do it. Like I could do it now. I could do it now because I'm retired, my kids are grown. I do have that extra time. But if you don't if you don't have that type of time and commitment to put into this, then it ain't for you. For real, for real. Because a lot of people want to do things, they want to do it, but they want to take shortcuts. A lot of people that, I've seen on social media, who consider themselves doing this, or they're not. They not doing it. I don't know what they doing, but they ain't doing this because they don't want to. Really don't want to put in the work, and it's more work than just how we be watching people online do. No, it's way more than that. You got to learn these songs. You have to learn them in the Yoruba tongue. Mm-mm. You got to learn it. And your godmother is one, or godfather is gonna want to make sure that you know it, because you gonna have to recite it or sing it or whatever in front of them so that they know you know it before you come to the Orisha. Because see, you are their child, and they don't want to take you in front of the Orisha as their child and you have not been trained. That's like taking your child out to the grocery store or something and they don't know how to act out in public, or taking your child out to a restaurant and they don't know how to use utensils because you didn't train them. So it's the same way with the Orisha. Our godparents have to teach us the songs, have to teach us how to salute, have to teach us how to pray before you come in front of the Orisha. You can't just be like, oh, Oshun is so pretty. And then you get in front of Oshun and you be like, hey, girl, what's up? No, you bet not. You better not. And most of these godparents don't want you embarrassing them. Because when you go to bimbes or you go to ceremonies, you are representing the house that you belong to. And you can't be out there not knowing what you're doing, because then you are an embarrassment to your godparents. Okay? So you can't show up at a bim, like I couldn't show up at a bimbe with what I have on. And I know better. So and people, they look at everything. They're gonna look at how you dress, how you salute, do you know the songs, do you know the dances, all of that kind of stuff. And it's so each Orisha has its own dance, they have their own song. It's a lot to learn. And if you're not ready for that, if you're not ready for that commitment, then sit down somewhere until you're ready. Like do like I did. Just get your leques and stay in your lane. Don't let your ego push you to a point that you're really not willing to go to. Because it will. Like you will see other people with all of their leques and stuff, and you can become enamored with what someone else is doing. It is so easy to become enamored and want people to salute you like they do other people. Like my best friend was uh is a priest of Oshanla. And when we would go play, and here I am, an Aleo, with, just a few elect eggs. And when we would go out in, to ceremonies and stuff, people knew who she was. They knew she was a priest. She got recognition. She got to sit at the big table. She was served, and I would have to sit in the corner because I wasn't, in that crew. And it kind of, you don't like to feel like you not on the same level, especially as like your best friend. Like she never made me feel bad, and she had told me what it was going to be like beforehand, so I didn't get there and feel like, oh well, I can't sit with you, this my best friend, and we was tight. I can't sit at, no girl, you have to sit with the other um aleos. They're going to serve me, they're going to salute me, and don't worry about that. Just stay in your lane, and one day this will be you. And it could have been me at any time, but I chose for it not to be me because I did get a reading and it is me. I do have a crown, but I've chosen, because of everything that was happening at that time, I chose not to accept it because it was just so much stuff going on in my life. I just didn't really feel like I was going to be able to give it the attention that it really deserved. And that was because I had an opportunity to see my god sister, her cleaning her Orisha. Like, you have to do a deep cleaning once a year for the new year, cleaning them, taking care of them every day, getting up every morning, speaking to them, making sure her ancestors were okay. And I just didn't want to do all that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being as real can get right now. I just wasn't ready for all of that, so I didn't do it. Thank you, tell it like it is. Reggie Thomas said, "Hey mama, my friend's granddaughter got hit in the eye and burned on her leg by her mother. A baby in Texas. My friend is in Bama. She called authorities about what rituals can be used for protection for the baby." I don't talk about that kind of stuff on here. So we'll have to talk offline. Hey Batman. Hey beautiful son. So let me see, is that the only thing that they, let me see. Okay, so following some of the traditional edibles given to Alegua for specific needs, all the ingredients can be found at stores known as botanicas, which cater to the needs of the Santeros. So it's basically saying anything that you need specifically for the Orisha can be found at botanicas, because some things that you need for the Orishas can be found at Safeway or whatever your grocery, the Piggly Wiggly or whatever. You these are specific herbs and items that are for the Orisha, and you have to get them from Botanica or maybe a African store or something like that. You can't just walk into Safeway and buy some of these herbs because they don't sell them. Or maybe something that you have to, you know, get, that you can find out in the wild somewhere. But a lot of herbs that you need for the Orisha, you can't just walk into any store and pick them up. You're gonna have to go to a botanica to pick him up. So there is a cleansing that they have on here for Allegra, but I'm not going to get into that because, let me see. Well, it looks like it's only a few ingredients, but I don't think y'all need to, you know, really get into stuff like that because you're not you're not on you're not on that level. So it says Mondays belong to Elegua. Mondays are Elegua's day in Santeria. Now, there is probably a different day in Ifa, in, Hoodoo, I think uses a different day, and Voodoo, I think uses a different day. And that's another thing. You guys are going to have to learn the difference between Ifa, Santeria, Voodoo, Hoodoo. All of these things are different. They are all practiced different. They do not intertwine with each other. Even though they may use the Orisha or the Loa, they are totally different. You're doing totally different things. So you have to get into your mind that Santeria and Ifa are two totally different practices. Totally different. So you have to figure out, well, which one should I use? You have to figure that out. You have to go in and have a reading, and that's something that you should talk to the person that is doing your reading about. Like, what is the real difference? Like, what is the difference for me? Like, I understand that it's two. Okay, so let me put it a little bit easier. It's like um Baptist and Church of God in Christ. They both believe in Jesus. They just do things totally different. It's the same way. And you have to figure out, which one is best for you. Like if you really go to someone and they really care about, you as a person, they're going to tell you that um Ifa is calling you or, whatever. It should come up in your reading because the person that's doing your reading should be skilled enough to let you know like which direction you should be going in. Those things come up in your initial reading. So you're going to have to figure that out. So Mondays are Allegua's day in Santeria. The practitioners of the religion always remember to give the Orisha a small dish of candies on this day, together with fresh water, rum, a cigar, and a white candle. 3 drops of the water are let fall on the floor in front of Allegua's image while the person prays to the Orisha. Some rum and cigar smoke are then sprayed over the image and the candle is lit. The candies of the previous week are rubbed over the person's body to cleanse them from negative vibrations and to attract sweetness in his or her life. The dish is then refilled with new candies and the old ones are thrown into the street. So do you think that your average person who be out here talking about uh a leg wise, you think they know all this? No, because the majority of them have not even taken time to even read up on the Orishas. They just see certain things and they're like, oh yeah, I want that. I'm gonna do that. And don't even have a clue as to what they're doing or what they're supposed to be doing. Because if you're not doing these things correctly, you won't find favor with the Orishas. They will just be like, oh, well, they ignoring me, I'm gonna ignore them too. Or worse, they started this and they just gonna drop me in the middle of the process? Okay, well, I got something for them. Because a leg was a trickster anyway. Oh, you wanna play with me? Oh, I'm gonna play with you too. So don't be out here thinking you doing something because you didn't saw something on TikTok. You didn't saw people on TikTok who claim to be doing something and they not. Because people that really practice are very selective of what they put online. Very selective. I know some priests, and I ain't never seen them post their actual Orishas or post things that they're doing because they're not supposed to. Some things are sacred. Like a lot of the people that I know, I've never even seen them. I think they were there. I'm about to find out, y'all. I'm about to look at this one person that I know that's on Instagram and see if she wears her alekes. What is her name? Oh, okay. Let me look at this one person. Yeah, she never even wears her alekes. There's nothing. There is nothing on here. Yeah, she don't post those kind of pictures. There are no pictures of her with her alekes. No, she don't post those kind of pictures. And the majority of people that I know, they don't. They don't. They don't think it's necessary to flaunt that online. It's the people. Now, there are some people who, like the one young lady that I follow, she posts some things. Like, she's never posted her actual Orishas, but she does post, like, some things online. And I have seen her online with her lekes on and, with all white, because she did post a few pictures of herself when she went to Nigeria. But the majority of people who are priests and stuff, you wouldn't know it. They just don't, they don't get down like that. They don't post their ancestor altar. They don't post their orishas. They don't post none of that. And that's how it should be. Some things are private. If you go to ceremony, you're not gonna take no pictures at anybody's ceremony. Nobody's. You're not gonna get up in their vlog and yeah, I'm at the. No, you're not. Because it don't work like that. The Orishas don't. They don't want to be photographed, and people don't want you taking pictures of the Orishas or taking pictures of them while they're at ceremony. It's not appropriate. So when you see people online bragging about what they have, or you know, 9 times out of 10, they're not who um they claim to be. That is not. And they probably don't have what they claim to have said that they have, excuse me. So just be careful when it comes to that. Did I see Kay? Are we buffering? Because I am on here. Hey, Tina. Are we buffering? I'm not on here, but I am on my iPhone. I wonder why. How long we been on here? We've been on here 44 minutes. I'm getting ready to go anyway. So tomorrow I don't know if I'm gone. Can somebody tell me if I'm still here? Tina, can you still see me? Oh, okay. Oh gosh, it says that my um, hold on now. I'm glad I wasn't on here. It says the Wi-Fi is not connected. I don't know what's been going on with this phone. Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. So let's see what the next one is. Okay. So the next one is Ogun. So we will do Ogun tomorrow. We will go into. Okay. This much is Ogun. So we'll do Ogun tomorrow. Does anybody have any questions before I leave? Blue 12 Night 2, you have a question? Or because you said yes. Oh, you were saying, yeah, I can see you. Okay. Does anybody have a question? Oh, and don't forget for the people that are members of this channel, you guys need to email me for where's mine? Um For your ocean bracelets. Everybody that is now, you're not gonna get a bumblebee because I put a bumblebee on mine because I'm the queen. But you will get an ocean bracelet. Everybody that is a member of the channel, we I've made a bracelet for you all to thank you for being a member, and you need to go back and read your perks because y'all not setting up your appointments for your card readings. You need to go back and see what level of the membership you belong to and send me an email. I'm about to put my email in the chat. Okay, so I just put my email in the chat, and if you are a member, you need to contact me. I hate when people and I don't know why I just did that. You know, when people do videos and they be clapping. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Gizmo. I'm sorry, Pookie. Was you sleep? He hot. He is so mad right now. I'm sorry, Poochie. I'm sorry. I was making a point. I'm sorry, Pootie, okay? I hate when people be in their videos and some people instead of being expressive with their hands, they always clapping when they talk like that irritates my whole soul. If I'm sorry, baby. Mommy scared you. I'm sorry. You know mommy wouldn't have scared you. Okay? He like, let me get over here closer to you because you didn't scare the hell out of me. I don't know what's wrong with you, mama. Mama, don't do that no more. Um, they clap when they talk, and that's just irritating to me. So I try my best not to do it. I am very expressive with my hands. That is why I like hold my cell phone a lot when I'm talking because if I don't, I'm be and I've always done that. Usually, if I hold something in my hand, um, it will keep me from being as expressive with my hands because that can be irritating or distracting when someone's talking and they're constantly, using their hands when they talk. So we're going to keep uh, going on until we finish that particular book, and then I think we'll go into the hoodoo book, or I may just sprinkle a little hoodoo in there with this with the Orisha teaching. I think tomorrow's Friday, right? I don't know. Child, you know how you retire, you just lose all track of days. I think tomorrow's Friday. If it is, I think I'm going to start doing some free card Fridays, especially for my people who are members of the channel. If they want me to pull a card for them, I'll do that. So we're gonna do the Trust Your Vibes, and we'll probably do a crystal and maybe a spirit animal if I have the spirit animal ones out. So this weekend, I think we are going to Sacramento to look at some places, and hopefully, if I'm not being lazy, I will do a vlog and show you some of the places that we looked at in Sacramento because we are about to move to Sacramento soon, real soon. Hopefully, real soon. So that's what we're gonna do. If tomorrow's Friday, we're going to do the yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Because today is Thursday, I had to check. Um so we will do that tomorrow. We'll do some card readings instead. Well, we may do a little bit of the teaching and then we'll do some card reading because I really don't like to go over an hour on here because after that, you know, when I talk more than an hour, like my throat gets dry and I don't know. I just don't want to go through all that. Okay? So that's it, you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. If you haven't watched um the last video I posted, make sure that you watch that and make sure that you have your notifications turned on so that when I do post a video, you guys won't miss anything. And I think that's it. I love you guys and I will see you later. Bye. Did I make you mad?